Okay, so I literally just stepped in the door from work, didn't even take my jacket off yet, and I'm just like, why not sit down and film a video, before I wash my face and take my eyebrows off? So that's what I'm doing right now. I have noticed in my messages on Twitter and in my emails that I receive that there is a reoccurring subject going on. And whenever I get a question about the same subject over and over and over, I take it as a sign that I need to do an advice video on that subject. So that's what I'm doing right now. And as you can probably tell by the title, this video is going to be about when someone leaves you for someone else. Now, I think I'm going to title it like when your man leaves you for another woman, but if you are a man watching this, obviously this can happen to you too. Just, switch the wording around. So yeah, when somebody leaves you for someone else, I've been here more than one time. When you start to see the higher lesson and the things that go on in your life, they become far less painful. But it's hard to do that when you're sitting in the pain. So for the people who are going through it right now, I know it's hard to see like how this is serving your greater good, but hopefully this video will help you out a little bit and relieve some of your stress and your pain, because trust me, I know how painful that can be. Okay, so I guess I'll start out with my own personal story with this. Like I said, this happened to me like a couple times, but only one time did it actually like hurt me really badly, and when it actually stuck, you know what I'm saying? I was with a guy that I was very much in love with, and he had an ex that just kept popping into the picture. Like she was always around, and I'm just like, oh, I don't really like this. This is uncomfortable. And it just got to a point where, it was very obvious to me that he still had feelings for his ex. Red flag number one, if you're with somebody and their ex is still lingering, that ups the chances that they will actually leave you for said person. So my advice would be to, if you're dating someone, to figure out where they stand with their ex. Because if they still have any type of emotional tie, like, there's a good chance that they're using you as like a rebound, or they're using you as a distraction, and if their ex comes back in, they're willing to go in that direction. So I got into it with his ex. Like, I had an argument with her, and I pushed the button. I know I did, and I didn't care either, because like when people talk crazy, I'm an Aquarius, so I'm gonna clap right back at your ass. So I'm pretty sure that her swooping back in to try to get back with him, I'm sure it was like an ego thing. Like, I'm sure that she just wanted him back because she saw that I was with him, and she saw that she still had some type of control or power over his emotions. And she didn't like me at this point because I cursed her out. She started tweeting like, I'm gonna have sex with him again, I'm gonna take him, da 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 da. And I was just like, girl, bye. Like, he wouldn't even dare. Like, he wouldn't dare leave me for this girl. Like, y'all, he left me. He definitely did leave. Like, left, went in her direction, blocked me on everything, like cut me off cold. And I was like, word? Like, that's what we're doing? Like, I can laugh about it now, but when it happened, it really wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. So, so ridiculous. Because I was so sure. I was just like, she ain't about to go back to her. Like, girl, you spoke too soon. Yeah, he left and went back to her. And I was so mad, and I was so hurt and so upset. And it took a lot of prayer, a lot of meditation, a lot of spiritual guidance to get me through it. So I guess I'm going to give you the advice that I kind of received from God and from like my spirit guides, to help me get through it. When somebody leaves your life, and this is going to sound very cliche, okay, but trust me. Bear with me on this. This is the truth. When somebody leaves your life, it is because they no longer vibrate on the same frequency as you. Okay? Y'all are not compatible anymore, and there is something better for you out there. The minute you release that anger or release that bitterness at them leaving you is the minute something great steps back into your life, okay? Or something new steps into your life. Because as soon as I let go of that like bitter feeling of like, oh, he left me, like, oh my God, because honestly, when somebody leaves you for somebody else, like, your feelings are hurt, but it really lingers because your ego is hurt. Like, it's such a blow to your ego, because it's sort of like, it's so humiliating and it's so degrading, I guess you could say. And it sort of makes you feel like, what's wrong with me? Like, you start like picking yourself apart and overanalyzing. And the answer to that is nothing. There's nothing wrong with you. It's literally just your ego taking a hit. Feeling like somebody stole love from you, But they can't steal love from you. No one can take love from you, because love is infinite, of course. Not to get all philosophical on you, but it's true. No one can actually steal love from you. Nobody can actually steal a person from you either, because that person can't be stolen if they're yours. And again, I know people are going to be like, oh my God, that's a cliche. But it's like, just sit down and really think on that. Like, if the person leaves, they're not vibrating on your frequency anymore, and it's time for them to go. Like, it's time for them to go. Like I said, the girl was all like, I guess she was proud that she took him, quote unquote. But I was just like, girl. For the rest of my life, if every time I got a man, if you were able to take him from me, like, you could take my next 5 boyfriends, you could take my husband, you could take my baby dad. I don't have one, but you know, in the future. That means nothing. Like, I'm still me, I'm still beautiful, I'm still compassionate, I'm still talented, I'm still intelligent. Like, what did you didn't really take anything from me. You can take, like I said, the next 5 boyfriends that I have. I'm still going to think highly of myself. Put it that way. And if someone is constantly telling you, like, I'm gonna take your man, and then they do it, and they feel like they've won something, just know that it's because their sense of self-worth is tied up in a man. And that's the only reason why they want to take yours, because if they didn't think a man would steal somebody's self-worth, they wouldn't want to steal the man. So clearly they equate self-worth with a man, with a relationship. They lose at the end of the day, because if they take the man, or if they go out of their way to take somebody, you just know that they're only feeling good because that they have that man. So if the man leaves them, then what? Where does their self-esteem then go? You see what I'm saying? And I was like, girl, you didn't take nothing from me but a backstabber, a traitor, and a headache. Like, if he can be taken that easily, you just took my headache away. Like, you're basically a Tylenol, pretty much. So if somebody stole your partner, quote unquote, just know that they're supposed to be gone. Just know that. And it's not for you to compare yourself to the other person or be like, oh yeah, what does she have that I don't have? Nothing at all. Don't even let those thoughts cross your mind. Like, the thoughts will try to cross. Don't let them. Change your state of mind and focus on yourself. Now, when I say, like, there's a higher lesson to all of this, it's going to be personal on a case-by-case basis, okay? Because my lesson in that situation was to heal my abandonment issues, to heal my codependent issues, okay? If a woman is lingering, or if you have a partner and their ex is lingering, anybody with, like, dignity and self-respect is going to remove themselves from that situation. You know what I'm saying? Especially if their partner is entertaining the ex. So, because I did not remove myself from the situation willingly, like I was supposed to, God came and snatched him. Like, listen, no. When somebody is treating you a certain way or acting a certain way towards you, you leave. Or God's going to take that person from you in a way that you can't get back to them. Because God wants you to love yourself, whether or not you believe in God, the universe, whatever. I'm just going to say God. God wants you to love yourself. God wants you to practice self-love. And your self-worth should never be tied up in a person to the point where if they leave, they take your sense of self-worth with you. Because when he first left, it was devastating. Like, I felt like I was on the verge of death because, like I said, my codependency and my abandonment issues, I had wrapped all my happiness up in him. I made him my happiness. And that's not the way a relationship is supposed to be. You know? That's not the way it's supposed to go. So, like I said, you have to see the higher lesson in things like this. Because him leaving showed me that I don't need him. He just showed me that I don't need him. And then on top of that, do not underestimate karma, because people don't understand what karma is. Karma is just an energy boomerang, okay? What goes around comes around. The energy you put out is going to come around and slap you in your face. Hopefully it's a good slap. Hopefully it's good karma. But a lot of times people create bad karma for themselves. So the way he went about leaving, how sneaky and deceitful he was, it just came and like just slapped him in his mouth, only because the girl that he left me for, his ex, they were on and off again, a toxic situation. And if somebody left you for their ex, especially that they've dealt with in the past and they've been on and off again, they're going to be off again. Inevitably. Like, they're going to be off again. So don't even think that you're missing out on anything. If they feel as though they have to go back to their ex or go to somebody new to learn whatever they need to learn on their path, then that's not in your control. So surrender that control and let them go. You know what I'm saying? And yes, it will hurt, and yes, it will sting. Like I said, it will be a blow. But it's like the perfect opportunity for you to practice self-love and practice surrendering to God and practice, you know, not seeing yourself through another person's actions, no matter how much you love them. Because like I said, I was very much in love with him. Like, to an unhealthy point, and that's why he had to be snatched away from me. You know, that's why he had to be taken away from me. And that's how I began to rebuild myself and build myself back up for that, after that experience. So if you have pure intentions and your heart is pure and you're in love with this person, but for some reason they're still wanting someone else, then maybe you are too good for that person. Like, stop seeing it as that person that they left you for is better than you. It's a good chance that you're too good for them. So clearly he was not vibrating on my frequency, because I vibrate on the frequency of love. Like, my intentions are pure, like my heart is pure. I want to see everyone do good. I'm full of compassion, you know, to the point where even when the ex first started popping up, I told him I will step out of the picture if there's love there and y'all need to work something out. And he assured me, no, it's not. And I share that because, like I said, my intentions are pure. I want everybody to be happy. But people like to be sneaky and anyway, like I said, me and him, we weren't vibrating on the same level frequency, because he wanted to be deceitful and manipulative, and I was vibrating on the frequency of pure love, you know, with nothing but good intentions. So them suffering similar pain after he left me, it just confirmed that that's where he was supposed to be. He was supposed to be with her because they're on the same wavelength. That manipulation, the lying, the deceit, they are made for each other, and I'm above that. And I hope you realize, like, if somebody left you for someone else, there's a good chance that you are above that. And it's not even from an egotistical standpoint. You just have to know who you are, so that when people do stuff like this, it won't rob you of who you are as a person, your happiness, your joy. It won't rob you if you know who you are, you know what you have to offer. So look at the higher purpose, you know? Look at it from a spiritual standpoint and not just like a place of ego or a place of pain and hurt. It's okay to feel the hurt, but just don't stay there for too long, okay? Take this time out to reflect and practice self-love. God will never leave you hanging. So if God plucked somebody out of your life, he's about to insert something 100% better. 100% better. So as soon as I forgave my ex and I let go of that animosity and I stopped hating him for what he did, I met my boyfriend. Literally, like probably the next day after I was just like, I want to close this cycle. Like, you know, I want to forgive him. I don't want to hold on to this. I met my boyfriend the next day, like the guy that I'm with right now. And when I say that, my boyfriend is like, he's like an angel. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. His heart is so pure. Like, I don't know how to even explain it. Like, do you know how a child, like when a child loves you, it's from like this pure, innocent like place. Like a child just be loving you. Or like a dog, like when a dog just loves you and expects nothing in return and it's just so pure. Like, that's how my boyfriend operates. Like, he's just so, I don't even know where this man came from. Like, I really don't. Like, he's from like a different planet or something. He is everything, and he gives me everything that my ex never gave me. And it's easy to romanticize your ex when they leave you for someone else because you're thinking about all the good times, like, oh, I wish they would come back. But you gotta really remember how bad it actually was, like, before they left you. Because there's a good chance, more than likely, the relationship was not going well before they left. And if it was going well and they still up and left, that's how you really know God is about to give you something great. Because that just sounds crazy. That just sounds irrational. So you know God is working somewhere in there. So, like I said, once you let that energy go of like anger and resentment and frustration, and you align yourself with the higher lesson, then God will give you something so much better. I'm telling you. Like, there were people in my messages that were like, they haven't like their ex left them for somebody else like 3-4 years ago, and they say they still think about it every single day. And I'm like, no. Like, you think about it, but you're after 3 or 4 years, you're not still in love with them. Like, let's be serious here. What you're still holding on to is the pain of the abandonment. That's what you're holding on to. And feeling like, oh, they don't deserve to be happy. How do they get to leave me with all this pain, and then they go off and they're happy with someone? Now, 9 times out of 10, they're not happy with the other person. Let's just keep it real. Alright, well, maybe 8 times out of 10 they're not happy. But there's also that 2 times out of 10 that they leave you and they actually do go with somebody who they feel is the love of their life and they live happily ever after. But really think about that. So what? They're happy. What does it have to do with you? That it's your time to find your own happiness and go on your own path. Once that person is gone, they're gone. Like, release that energy from around you. Release those abandonment issues, which you probably most likely have childhood wounding that involves abandonment that you're supposed to be working out through this lesson. You know what I'm saying? Because like I always say, with relationships, I do feel like they're just big ass mirrors. Like the person you're with is just a mirror to what's inside of you. you know? So if somebody left you 5 years ago and you're still holding on to it, it's because you have a wound that you're not tending to. It's not even about the other person anymore. Now it's about you. And a lot of people miss it because they're just focused on, oh, I can't believe that person left me. I can't believe they would do this to me. And that's understandable. That's you're a human, and you're going to need time to recover. It took me a good, like, I want to say 2 months of just crying and being really severely depressed before I even was able to forgive my ex. But years, you're letting somebody have way too much control of your life, and you're not learning the lesson that this relationship was meant to teach you, because every relationship is an opportunity for growth. So embrace that. You know what I'm saying? Embrace that growth, embrace that self-love, embrace that self-care, and understand that once you start taking care of yourself, God is going to put someone or something much better into your life. Trust and believe. And that person that left you, eventually they'll just be a thought, an afterthought. It gets to a point where your body doesn't even react to it anymore. You're just like, oh, okay, well, that's what you left me for. I guess that's what makes you happy. Okay, well, I'm going to go find what makes me happy now. And that's it. Okay, camera died. Time to wrap this up. But, yeah, if you have lost someone, or if someone has left you for someone else, just know that that has no bearing on who you are as a person. It has no bearing on your self-worth. And God has something better in store for you. Trust and believe. I am living proof. And focus on your self-love. Focus on your self-care. Focus on the people who actually want to be in your life, who won't leave you. And you'll get through it. Trust me. It feels like you won't. It hurts like hell. But you will get through it if you want to get through it. You know, people say time heals all wounds, or everything is better with time, but that's not necessarily true, because it depends on what you do with that time. So like I said, there's people like that get messages from them just like, oh yeah, he left me 4 years ago. That's because in that 4 years time, what they've been focusing on is the fact that he left, and not focusing on themselves and picking themselves back up and making themselves back happy and going out and creating their own happiness, so then they can attract someone who will add on to that happiness, who won't just up and abandon them and leave them, you know? So just try to find the higher lesson in all of this. Definitely. And if I'm going to give practical advice, because that's like philosophical and spiritual advice, and some people want like grounded, down to earth advice. So I will say my grounded, down to earth advice is to keep yourself very busy. Definitely. Find positive distractions. If you're into art, or you have a talent, throw yourself into your craft. Spend time with your family, friends, and people who love you. Do not, I repeat, do not check their social media. Don't do it. Literally, the only thing you're going to find is something that's going to hurt your feelings, or something that doesn't matter. Because let's just say you go in there and you see that they broke up because they weren't happy together. That doesn't matter. It doesn't take away from the fact that he left you. It might feel good for your ego for a little bit, but it still doesn't stop the fact that he did what he did. And if you go on his social media and you see that they're doing well, that's just going to hurt you. So checking that social media after someone has left you for someone else, it does nothing but keeps on like picking at a scab. Yeah, find positive distractions. Break that bad habit of obsessing about him or her. Like I said, you could switch this out. And find positive, you know, alternatives, positive distractions, and just dive into yourself. And eventually you will hear his name, you will hear her name, and your body just will not react anymore. Just look at it from a higher standpoint, okay? So I hope that that was helpful. Give this video a thumbs up if it was. I'm going to start doing more requested advice videos like sporadically, because I actually enjoy doing these. Like the teaching videos are good too, where, you know, it's like all information and facts, but sometimes it's good to just sit down and, you know, chit chat, you know, like you're talking to your friends, right? So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure you subscribe if you have not already. Share your stories in the comment section below. We are all here to support and uplift each other. Oh wait, and if you have a request like for an advice video, put that in the comment section as well, okay? So again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.